Good morning, Amulya. Good morning, Megha. How come you are here? Okay, fine. So you read the newspaper this week? So some of the very important news I have taken from the mains analysis. So one is the rooftop solar plan. Good morning, Amulya. Good morning. So now the news this is covering, that is the rooftop solar plan. India's solar power program, which includes an important component of grid connected rooftop system, is running behind schedule. The Pradhan Mantri Suryodaya Yojna was announced by the PM, aims to give a fresh push to solar. That means Pradhan Mantri Suryodaya Yojna is about giving a push to your solar. So the potential is huge, but it needs smart, concerted efforts to come to fruition. Now the point is that why why we are discussing about the solar plants, because India receives a good quantity of sunlight. So firstly, India is receiving good quantity of sunlight. Now the point is that when we are having a high solar radiations, or we are receiving high solar radiation, then why not use it for solar energy, or use it as solar energy? So primarily the reason for covering this is because we are having we are receiving high solar radiations, and we are having good quality of solar products. So for this, I can say that why do we even require this? Because India is highly dependent on fossil fuels. So if we are going to use solar energy, what we can do is that we can shift towards non-fossil fuels. Now, once we are shifting towards non-fossil fuel, what is going to happen? See, definitely our dependency on fossil fuels will decrease, and we'll have an alternative source of energy. That is one of the reasons. Other than that, what is going to happen is that in COP26, that is COP26, what happened was that our ministry, and which ministry? It is Ministry of New and Renewable Energy, has worked towards what? Now they have been asking, or they have been saying it in COP26, that we will be targeting 500 gigawatt of installed energy capacity. That means our ministry in COP26 has targeted what? 500 gigawatt of energy installation capacity. And this is targeted from where? This is targeted from your non-fossil fuels. So we have got enough reasons to shift towards solar plans, and work towards it. Why? Because firstly, we have got a specified scheme for solar energy, and then in COP26, our ministry has targeted 500 gigawatt of energy installations from non-fossil fuels. Then India is receiving high solar radiation, so our dependency from fossil fuels will decrease, and we'll eventually shift towards non-fossil fuels. Other than that, what else? Now, if you you people have done geography also, so if you have a little bit idea, then which part of India is receiving maximum sunlight, or you can say the solar energies. So you'll find that the regions of Rajasthan and the regions of Gujarat. Now, these two regions are receiving high capacity or high amount of solar energy. So what is there, why or how we are going to use these two states effectively? So the total solar capacity that is coming from these two states are, so 18.7 gigawatt is coming from your Rajasthan, and when I talk about Gujarat, this is coming from Rajasthan, and for Gujarat it is 10.5 gigawatt. Gujarat it is 10.5 gigawatt, whereas for Rajasthan it is 18.7 gigawatt. Okay, so if you want to make your notes, you can write this, that the share of non-fossil fuels, the share of non-fossil fuel in total energy production, the share of non-fossil fuels in total energy production during the fiscal year of 2023 to 2024 was confined to 22%. So if you see the number, it is 22% for the fiscal year of 2023 to 2024. That is the contribution that is coming from the non-fossil fuels. Now, when we are having this much of production from 2023 to 2024, then definitely we can think of expanding this, and that is the reason why we are, effectively looking towards solar plan. Yeah, and here, when you read the news, you'll find that rooftop solar projects are initiated highly in Gujarat, then Maharashtra, Karnataka, Rajasthan, and then eventually to other states. And here again, they have provided you what year-wise installed solar power capacity. That means year-wise, what was the contribution towards solar panel. So the contribution of non-fossil fuel for the year of 2023 to 2024 was 22%. Now, the point is that when we have the contribution, just a minute. Okay, so the point is that when we are having the contribution to 22%, then what is the need to expand this? So again, our nationally determined contribution, that is NDC, and our commitment towards UNFCCC. Now, both the places India has committed what? Now, the India has committed to achieve what? 50% of electric power installations So India has committed 50% of electric power installation from non-fossil fuel based energy. So one contribution is coming from here. So you can write this down, that India under nationally determined contributions (NDC), India under nationally determined contribution (NDC), and UNFCCC has committed to achieve 50% of electric power installations from non-fossil fuel based energy. Okay, so this is one thing that we have committed in UN. Now, what has been our achievement in the process of all this? Like, we have targeted this much, we have thought about building our solar capacity. We are talking about how our installations have been increasing every year, how our percentage has been increasing towards non-fossil fuel energy. Now, the point is that what has been our achievement? So one of our achievement for the year 2023 has been that a total of 176 gigawatt, that means a total of 176 gigawatt renewable energy capacity has been installed in our country. So this is our achievement. That means we have installed this much of energy capacity. And this is primarily of your renewable energy. And this is the data of June 2023. Fine. Now, other than that, what else? Now, in a scenario of rooftop solar panel, this is what we are discussing here, rooftop solar panel. So what has been our achievement in case of rooftop solar panel? So in case of rooftop solar panel, we have made it around 11 gigawatt, and this data is coming from December 2023. So you can write this, that our achievement has been, first, 176 gigawatt of renewable energy capacity has been installed. That means it's already installed in the country. And in case of rooftop solar panel, we have 11 gigawatts of installation, and this has been done by December 2023. Okay. Then I have told you what is the contribution of Rajasthan, what is the contribution from Gujarat coming. Okay. Now, these were certain facts that were with us. Now the point is that we are making so much of effort. Then what would be the advantage of making so much of effort, having this PM Suryodaya Yojna, then our achievement towards renewable energy capacity? Ultimately, what is the advantage that it is going to be served? So see, firstly, what is going to happen is, you are also aware of this. First, there will be a reduction in your air pollution, definitely, because more of solar projects coming in being, then we'll be less dependent towards our fossil fuels. So more towards non-fossil fuels, that means less of air pollution. Now, other than that, this will reduce our dependency. So this shall reduce our dependency. And this shall reduce our dependency on what? Reduce our dependency on fossil fuels. Other than that, what else? Now, this is going to be, a next big project, and next big project for what? That means job creations are also going to happen ultimately. So, job creations. And what we have seen is that for this, like, see what is going to happen. You will require a workforce. Require a workforce for what? You will require a workforce for operation, for maintenance, for installation. All these things will ultimately help in job creations, or these will help in bringing job for the people. So installation, operation, and maintenance. Fine. Now, since the project is at a very initial stage, that means you will require a lot of funding also. There will be demand. There will be different kind of demand in the market for the solar panel installations. So let's see what could be the challenges that we'll witness in the process. What could be the challenges that we shall witness? Now, firstly, it's about financing. Financing of the project becomes a difficult task. Why financing becomes a difficult task? See, we have very limited finance coming here. So you see our power distribution companies that are discoms. Financing of the project becomes difficult. Why? Because the distribution companies, the electricity distribution companies, they receive what? There is a issue with net metering, and because of this, financing of the project becomes a difficult task, and especially in India, it becomes an issue. So you can write the first point, that is there is limited financing. And why? Because the electricity distribution companies, the electricity distribution companies supporting net metering, the electricity distribution companies supporting net metering fail to support the project. Fine. Other than that, now what else? These panels, the semiconductors, etc., what is going to happen is that you will require a domestic market for this. So you require a domestic market for this, and our market is yet in a phase of development. So are not, we are not at that stage where we can say that we can meet all your demands. For that reason, so our domestic market is still on a development phase. So here you can write that the potential of our market the potential of our market to meet the demands of the market is in a very initial stage. So they are not capable enough to meet the demand. So domestic market is not able to match the potential demand for solar power. And when I'm saying that the domestic market is not able to meet the demand, that means I have certain data for that. And what is that? One data for this is India. India kind of imported how much? So India imported nearly $76 billion of solar cells. So just wonder that $76 billion of solar cells have been imported by India. So just look at the numbers imported by India, and this number is so grave that China alone has been exporting nearly 76% of India's import. So this 76%, this is China alone has been exporting this much of to India. Fine. So this is the reason why I say that our domestic market is not competent enough to, or it doesn't have the potential to meet the demand of the market. Why? Because $76 billion of solar cells have been imported by India, and of which 76% of the imports that India is taking is alone exported by the China. So this becomes one of the reasons. Fine. Now, other than that, what else? See, you got these solar panels good enough. You have created a market again, good. Then you have got the financing for the projects again, good enough. Now the point is that where are you going to dispose the products once they are used? So you need to take care of the environment as well. So again, we went to save the environment and we ended up depleting it again. So what's the point? So disposition or disposing becomes an difficult task. So you can write this that manufacturing and disposing has a huge impact on has a huge impact on environment. Fine. Now, what government has done, and other than the waste that has been generated, how will the waste be treated? This is one of the important concerns. So now, what government has done, and what is what are the challenge? What are the steps that government is going to take in order to meet such challenges, and what has already been done? So that also need to be thought of. So now we will discuss that what are the efforts of the government towards the development of the solar project. So what are the efforts? So you must be aware of what International Solar Alliance is, ISA. one effort is International Solar Alliance, and what is that? See, this International Solar Alliance was launched at where United Nations Climate Change Conference. United Nations Climate Change Conference. So, International Solar Alliance that was launched by United Nations Climate Change Conference, and this was by who? It was by India and France. So again, one big international effort coming from India, that is International Solar Alliance, for what? To actually make people look towards the solar requirements, and also this is coming from India and France. And when you do it in detail, you'll find that they are basically targeting the countries who are between the Tropic of Cancer and Tropic of Capricorn. So what is going to happen uh, when you are targeting the countries between Tropic of Cancer and Capricorn? So you are trying to do what? You are trying to harness solar energy. So harnessing of solar energy. So this is one of the global effort that is coming from India. Now another is your national solar scheme. So this was International Solar Alliance. Another one is your national solar scheme, which uh, by India for increasing or for developing your solar energy capacity. So International Solar Alliance, and then next is your National Solar Mission. National Solar Mission. Now, this National Solar Mission, what is the target? That means the target here is 100 gigawatt of solar power. And this was said to be by the year of 2022. By the end of the year 2022, it was 100 gigawatt of solar power. Now, what was the strategy? So the strategy was making of solar parks. Like if you are trying to bring in 100 gigawatt of solar power by 2022, so you must be having a layout how you are going to do it. So one thing that they said was that we are going to build in what? Solar parks. Then we have ultra solar projects. Fine. So this was the efforts by India, International Solar Alliance, National Solar Mission, and eventually we have Pradhan Mantri Kusum scheme, etc. You can do it. It was just an analysis that how we could actually boost the solar projects in India. So these were some efforts. There were some advantages also. There were some challenges also that India will be meeting in future. Okay, so let's move on to the next analysis. Okay, so the truth about India's booming toy exports. Toy exports. Have you heard anything about regarding this thing? Have you heard anything about this toy exports? Any idea? How is the toy market of India? Okay, so see what or what this news is talking about, that is the truth about India's booming toy export. That means India is exporting a lot of toys. So what has led to increase in this sector of market, or what has led to again sudden boom of this export segment? So what happened was that between 2014 to 15 and 2022 to 23, India witnessed a high increase in the export of toy market. So there was a high increase in the export of the toy market. Now, when we have witnessed a high export in the toy market, that means somewhere or other our imports would have definitely declined. So our imports that were seen, it was seen that our imports declined by 52%. So this was the declining percentage of India's import of toys. Right. So now when you see a decline in your import and you see a increase in your export, what do you witness eventually? It is a net export. That means India is a net exporter of toys. Fine. Okay. Now, when we are seeing and we have witnessed this, that we are a net exporter of toys, and one question eventually pops us in the mind, that what has actually led to this export, or what has eventually made India come into this market as a net exporter. So one reason is protectionism. And why protectionism? See, what has happened is that there was a rise in import duties, which we witnessed, and a rise in net import duties. So, rise in net import duties led to what? Decline in exports. Sorry, decline in imports. So net import duties led to decline in imports. So that means led to what? This reduced your demand of products of toys. So demand of toys declined. So as you witnessed a increase in net import duties, you saw decline in imports, which led to demand of toys declining. So one reason was this, that the protectionism has created an issue. So again, because of protectionism, there was this rise in the custom duties as well. So rise in custom duties of the toys again led to what? Decline in the imports. It led to what? Less of demand of toys. So again, increase in custom duties. And altogether, what you can say, that these non-tariff barriers has actually non-tariff barriers has led to what? Reduction in the demand. Fine. So one very prime reason is net rise in import duties, custom duties, which has led to decline in imports. Again, this has led to the decline of demand of toys. Increasing of these non-tariff barriers has eventually led to reduction in demand. Now, this was one reason. Other than this, what has led to decline in the toy market? So, other reason is that there has been a considerable increase in investment. So, considerable increase in investment in this toy market. So, a lot of investment is coming on way in this market, which has led to what? Increase in good, or you can say the productivity of the market has increased. So, see, when you have a lot of investment coming on your way, then definitely you can, you have finance, then eventually you will do what? You will invest it, and you will invest it where? You will get good labor, then you will have good products. So, this has led to increase in productivity. And when this has led to increase in productivity, what is going to happen? Now, because of this, there will be a lot of competition. And when competition is there, what is going to happen? You will definitely export the product in the market. And when you will export it in the international market, somewhere or other your efficiency will also increase, competency will also increase. This will also lead to what? Rise in demand. So you see, it's a cycle. It is eventually helping you, increase your market, also increase your, what should I say, efficiency, and which will eventually lead to what? Booming of the toy exports. Fine. Okay. Now investments is one reason for increasing in exports, but not definitely the prime reason, because we have just discussed the rise in the import duties, the rise in the custom duties. So this is primarily the reason why India's trade of toy market has eventually risen. So the reason for this is that booming export, it is majorly because of the over protectionism approach, or these barrier tariffs. So you should have a very clear idea about this, that it is because of the barriers that have been put along in the market. Fine. Ma'am, how has the declining demand of toys led to no, demand of toys in the Indian market? I want to say, see, if the demand of the toys in the Indian markets are going to decline because they are going to be expensive, then we are definitely going to decline the imports. So, what is going to happen? We are going to focus more on our own market. Now, when we are going to focus more on our own market, then what we Indians are very famous for this. What we want a cheap product at a we want a good product at a cheap price. So when we want a good product at cheap price, what is going to happen? We have to ultimately focus on our own market creation, because we can't rely on the international imports. That means we are not going to import it from the international level. Have you understood this, Mega? Yeah, that was one of the prime reasons. So when our our users are not going to demand the products, and eventually we are filling it all in the market from the market, what is going to happen? Those are not going to be sold off. So once the products are not going to get sold off, then what is the use of having those products from the international level. So we ultimately we have to focus on our domestic market. There was this. That's what I'm saying, that investment is okay, but the prime reason for booming export is this protectionism, because we witnessed it and we had to create our own market. When we created our own market, then we have to sold it in the international level. We have to export it. So that is the reason why India's toy business, or you can just say this sector, got a big boost. Fine. Okay. Do multivitamins boost brain health and memory? So vitamins do have an impact on cognition, though not as profound. What is needed is an antioxidant called glutathione, says professor. Now they are talking about boosting brain health and memory. So they have eventually given you what they are talking about. One disease, if you can actually recognize it, it is your Alzheimer. So they are talking about what? They are talking about supplements to improve memory and slow aging. So this article is basically talking about how multivitamins, or do multivitamins boost your brain health and memory. That means how to have, or how to improve your memory, and how to slow down the aging. And this is primarily in which age group it is they are targeting is the older adults. So what has eventually happened is that they have tried and tested this methods in some 500 people, and what they found was that they kind of showed benefits, and these multivitamins. So these multivitamins showed benefit in improving the brain health and the memory. So what or which disease they are talking about is, so when you read this article, you will find that what this essentially means is that daily intake of vitamins might have a protective impact. They alone cannot prevent cognitive impairment or diseases such as Alzheimer and other dementia. So this article is focusing on the Alzheimer disease, and we are also going to discuss about Alzheimer. Now, what is Alzheimer all about? This is why, and this primarily covers your science section. So if you have a little bit idea about Alzheimer, so it is basically what a neurological disorder. So you should know about it, that it is a neurological disorder. So you can have these key points with you, that Alzheimer is a neurological disorder, and what happens is that in this when this disease is witnessed by a person, what they found is that their brain, or you can say what the brain witness atrophy. So what is that? That brain witness shrinking of brain size, and in some cases they find that the brain cells are witnessing what, they are eventually dying. So brain cells die. So neurological disorder, brain is shrinking. In some cases, you will find that brain cells tend to die, and what you see is that there is, when you see this, you will find that the person is showing the symptoms, and what is the person showing, or what are those symptoms? So there is an issue with the thinking. That means the person is no more able to think properly. The social behavior of the person changes, whosoever is facing Alzheimer. So social behavior also changes. Okay, now what else, what could be done, or how would you know that the person, the person you are talking to is a person who is suffering from Alzheimer? How would you eventually know? Because uh, if there is some kind of physical discrepancy, you can at least witness this, but this is something which is related to your brain health, your memory. So how will you know that the person is facing Alzheimer? So some symptoms are that if a person tends to forget a lot. So if a person tends to forget a lot of conversations, forgetting the recent events, so the person is probably facing Alzheimer. Now, what else? If the person is not even to carry out the daily task, so there is a failure that is witnessed in carrying out daily activities, daily tasks. The person is witnessing what? Alzheimer. Now, these are certain initial stages. When it comes to more severity, then what is that? In more severity, you will see there will be rise in loss of brain functioning. So you'll find rise in loss of brain functioning, and then in some cases, it's ultimately death. So these are certain symptoms you will witness with a person who is suffering from Alzheimer. Now, if a person is facing some kind of disorder, if a person is facing some kind of disease, that's okay. But the point is that how we are, going to treat it, or what is the treatment for it. So, but to your very surprise, currently there is no cure, as in for Alzheimer disease, but what they say, or what the people who are specialists in this profession, they say that you can actually think about improving the situation by how medication. So improvement through medication can help, but ultimately there is no cure. So more so it is relying on what? Medication. Fine. They keep forgetting and repeating stuff. Yes. They keep forgetting the normal conversation. It's something that I just told you, have a, can you just give me a glass of water? And we forget that. So that is one of that is not the only reason, or you can say that is not the only symptom, but yes, one of it. So keep forgetting, and yeah, we keep on forgetting it. Daily activities, that's what I told. Daily activities. Fine. So this was about Alzheimer and dementia. Let's move on to the next one. Okay, so the idea of one nation, one election. Okay, so for past so many days we have been talking about all this also, one nation, one election. then one nation, one language, etc. So again, the news is saying, the article is saying one nation, one election. So in September 2023, the union government set up a high-level committee on one nation, one election under the chairmanship of former president. So under the chairmanship of former president, there is a high-level committee being set, and this high-level committee is talking about what? This high-level committee is talking about one nation, one election. Okay, so basically, we have to discuss that whether this one nation and one election is going to be fruitful or not, and how much it is going to uphold the values of the constitution. Okay. Now, one nation, one election means what? Now we are having what? Electoral cycle. And what is that electoral cycle? We are having the elections for the Indian Lok Sabha, and then we are having elections for the state assemblies. So this, what they are trying to say is that one nation, one election means this, that ultimately it will be a single day for the voters. So a single day for the voters to cast the vote. Now, some people are favoring this one nation, one election, saying that this will eventually help in speeding up the process. So we will discuss that whether this is going to be good or not, or even if it is favorable, then what are the reasons for it to be favorable, and what if it is not, then why not? So first reason that one nation, one election could be favorable. See, we tend to have a lot of expenditure. There's a lot of expenditure happening during elections. So if we have, one elections, we can ultimately check the expenditure. So one reason could be that expenditure that is being done in the election, this could be checked in. Then if you have a little bit idea how the election process all is happening, you'll find that there's a lot of deployment of the security forces also. So ultimately, you deploy these forces onto the place where the elections are happening. So you see the efficiency of the other organization, or you can say the other system is also decreasing, because then the deployment is happening somewhere else until unless the election gets over. So here you can say the deployment of the security forces can be checked. Fine. Now, what else? Why do we even need to, think about it? So they are saying that, see, if one nation and one election is going to happen, we, or people in India, you also know that election is ultimately happening in some very key important topics to the people, not for us but for them, and it is religion and caste. So eventually, if it's one nation, one election, they say that there are chances that the issues of religion and caste could be checked. And how can this be checked? The author is saying that we can witness a less of communal violence. One day, one nation, one election, single day for the voters, and ultimately, all this thing could be checked. Otherwise, it will be an issue for the other states eventually. What else? I talked about the expenditure. Then, if you have a little bit idea, then during election we have these government machineries posted, or you can say that these government machineries are deployed over there. It's not only about the different forces. They are like the teachers are there who are there in the process of election when elections are happening. So one thing is that your socio-economic cost is also going to get reduced. Why didn't I said it's economic only, and why I said it's social economic cost getting reduced? Because ultimately those teachers will be there in school teaching the students, so the socio factor is not getting affected. Fine. So our welfare scheme will ultimately not get hampered. So hampering of welfare schemes can be checked. Fine. So these were some things which I feel that one nation, one election will serve good for us. Now the point is that it's not always about being good. There will be some discrepancies also happening. So what is it is going to create in the society? So see, firstly, very very important thing that this one nation, one election is going to kill is the constitutional values, or you can say constitutional challenges will be there. Why constitutional challenge? See, we are talking about federalism. We talk about separation of power. We talk about the distribution of power. Then people have choices. Once it's all about Lok Sabha election, and then people have choices for the state assembly. So, in case if they witness the issue in the national government, so they can check it out in the regional election. So at least they get a chance. So here, constitutional challenge. Other than that, what now? If you are going for one nation, one election, the point is that how you are going to synchronize the fixed terms. Synchronize. Fixed terms means we have 5 years for Lok Sabha election, and we have 5 years for state assemblies. Then how ultimately the people in power are going to synchronize the fixed terms? And I have just told you about your constitutional challenge. So again, the spirit of federalism is on stake. Fine. Now, apart from all this, we have you see what limited manpower, we have limited machineries, because since we are conducting elections and we are using EVMs, then how ultimately all the EVMs will be provided at all the regions. How you are eventually going to get that much of manpower? Why? Because ultimately you have to conduct that election in the entire region, in the entire territory. So one again issue which I feel is very important is that how the machineries and manpower are going to be brought right on time at the same place. So machineries and manpower, because you see, I just told you that when elections are happening in, you would have definitely heard about that the teachers are posted onto the regions, the teachers are on the duties while the elections are happening. So the concern is primarily this only, that machineries, where will going to get this much of machineries, where will manage the manpower in that specified time, because this is going to put a lot of strain onto the system. And I was talking about deployment of security forces. Now this is another stuff that is going on. So this is one of the issue. Other than that, I have just talked about spirit of federalism on stake. Now, when spirit of federalism is on stake, what is going to happen? Now, see, where you must have done polity section, so you would be knowing about the national parties, the regional parties. Now, what is going to happen? You are directly targeting the regional parties. How? They are going to face, they are going to face a very stiff competition. Stiff competition, as in what? All those parties that are operating at national level, they are definitely much more powerful as compared to the parties that are at regional level. So what you will find is that there is going to be a stiff competition regarding what? Because they'll face a comparative advantage. And who are going to face the comparative advantage? They are going to, the regional parties are going to face a very tough competition. Regional parties going to face a tough competition, and tough competition with who? It would be the national parties. Now they face a tough competition with the national parties, who? The regional parties. And when they are going to face this tough competition, in most of the scenarios, they are going to be at the disadvantage. Why? Because again, they are national parties, they are regional parties, so they will be at a disadvantaged segment. Fine. You can add on whatever you feel is relevant. This is something which I felt is relevant for the discussion, so I have discussed it with you. Okay, now let's move on to the next one. A revival of IMEC idea amid the choppy geopolitics. So if you people have done your IR, or even if you are in the process, then you will understand the one geopolitics. And then the author is talking about IMEC. And what is IMEC? It is India Middle East Corridor. Just a minute. Okay, green blue economy. Fine, fine, fine. So IMEC is India Middle East Europe corridor. Now, you people must be aware of the Yemen conflicts that are going out in present. So, why this topic has become relevant? Because of the Yemen conflicts that are happening, the Houthi rebellions that are present. So, with prelim section, that becomes important. Houthis, Houthis rebellion. So, in Yemen, we are witnessing conflicts because of Houthi rebellions and because of the superpowers. Also, they are the issue is happening in Yemen. So, when Yemen is facing this issue, now the point becomes that how we are going to use the Swiss Canal. So, if you have a little bit idea of the geography, it's something like this, right? So, what you find here is that here you have a Swiss Canal in this area. This is your this Middle East section, and this is your Swiss Canal. Then now, what is the issue behind, or what the issue is all about the Yemen conflicts. Now, the point is that how Suez Canal could be used because of constant disruptions happening because of this. Now we are turning towards what India Middle East Europe corridor. Now, what purpose this India Middle East Europe corridor is going to serve for us? So, see, what is happening is that. This is a region of Saudi Arabia, and when I'm talking about this Europe corridors, then which are the countries that ultimately you are going to cover in this region of IMEC? So you'll have India, you'll have you will have UAE, you'll have Saudi Arabia, you'll have Israel. So basically, this corridor will be passing or will be passing from these countries. Now, when these countries will be, you know, actively involved in what? Firstly, it's majorly about trade. So, how ultimately this is going to, affect your geopolitics? So, the whole concern is regarding this corridor in geopolitics and how trade is going to happen, and ultimately what is the efficiency of Suez Canal in this process. Because if we are moving towards this corridor, that means somewhere or other we are we are doubtful about Suez Canal. So when we are doubtful about Suez Canal, that's the reason why we are moving towards this IMEC corridor. So let's see how things are happening. Okay, just a minute. Now, what good is this corridor going to do to us, or what good this corridor is going to serve us? First thing, uh, if you are having an alternative as in what? You are having a India Middle East Europe corridor, which I told you that this shall be going from these countries. That means somewhere or other you are going to reduce your dependency. So if you see, if you are ultimately dependent on only one path, that is moving through Suez Canal, what is going to happen? somewhere or other, if some case, in some case, if some incidents hits, then what? Then you'll have only this option, and there's no other option. So in that case, what is one good thing that is happening is our dependency or dependability on the Suez Canal will decrease. So dependability will reduce. Other than that, what is going to happen? See, our major trade happening from the this our segment is from Mumbai, and in Mumbai we have what? Jawaharlal Nehru Port, and then there's one region of Gujarat. Fine. So when we have these two regions connected, what is going to happen? Now the major trade that is happening from the regions of India will help in what? Shipping. So ultimately dependability will reduce, shipping will happen, and happen through who? Through this Middle East Europe corridor. Fine. Now the point is that there are a lot of challenges that we are witnessing, and then there is a lot of criticism that is coming on our way. Why? Because of this India Middle East Europe corridor. And what is that? See, now they are saying that why? See, when you see the map, you'll find the way that this corridor is taking is actually not including Turkey. So when there's exclusion of this country, this Turkey, so the researchers or the people who are actively involved in this project, they are talking about what? This is quite they're saying that excluding one country out of it will not be good enough. So they are saying at least do something, include it. Now the point is that if you are including it, then we have this Arab population, Arab states. Now you are including UAE, you are including Saudi Arabia, and then we are having Israel also. So again, this becomes one of the reason for conflict, that how can you even rely on this project, because you have your Arab world, so you have Arab countries with you, and then you are having Israel also on the page. And recently we have witnessed this Gaza Strip issues on the Gaza Strip. So one criticism, or you can say one challenge we are witnessing because of this. Now, apart from all the global and international issue, the point is that how much this corridor is going to be beneficial for India. So you see, India, this region of India is actively involved in what? Shipping route. That means our major southern India is involved in what? Shipping routes. So for India, it's going to be good. Why? Because when we are involved in shipping, our southern states are involved in shipping routes, then we have got at least a corridor. Right? So this southern India can, cut what? The delivery schedule, because when we are using the shipping route, we are finding this area, we are finding this area, and when we'll ultimately use this IMEC corridor, what is going to happen? Our timing for the products or for the trade, the timing schedule from the side of India shall reduce by 40%. So are you even, can you even just realize it that 40% your delivery time is going to reduce? So your delivery time getting reduced by 40%. Now this is going to be very effective as compared to the other dedicated freight corridors. So as compared to other dedicated freight corridors, your 40% time delivery time is going to reduce when you are using this India, Middle East, Europe corridor. Fine. Now, other than this, I told you that two regions, primarily your Gujarat region and your Mumbai region, that is Maharashtra region. Here, a lot of export and a lot of trade is happening in the form of containers, which will be eventually actively transported through this Middle East Europe corridor. Why? Because when you are, trading through ship, after one point of time, you have to use the land route. So this will be a good land route for the exports, or you can say for the transfer of containers, which would be more safe as compared to the one routes that we were using earlier. Fine. Okay, so this was primarily one of the reason why this corridor will be quite beneficial for India. uh, Let me cover this up. Firstly, delivery timing reduced by 40%. Secondly, the transport of containers become easy. Why? Because we are having shipping routes as well as the land route. Why land route? Because when you will move from here, when you will move from here, you will see you will get the land route. Fine. Okay. Other than this, okay, so I have told you about the containers being transported, then 40% of delivery time being reduced. Okay, fine. Then you can also say that our capacity will also expand. Why? Because all the products that were traded, or you use the shipping route, so then your capacity is a little bit reduced. Now, when you use the land routes also, so your capacity expansion will happen. Fine. Okay, let's wait for more things to come in so we can discuss more in detail. This is something, an overview how India, Middle East, Europe corridor will be beneficial for India. What will be the challenges that will be eventually coming on the way? What are the criticism that this corridor is facing? And probably we are having your Arab worlds also, we are having Israel also, and we had the issues of Gaza Strip also. So how efficiently this corridor is going to work out, then undoubtedly dependability on Suez Canal will reduce. That is one of the good points also at global scenario. Let's wait for more things to come on our way, so we'll discuss more in details. Okay, the next thing that is coming on our way is greening the blue economy. So firstly, you should know greening the blue economy. So you should know what is blue economy all about, or who do you refer as blue economy. So if you are sustainably using what your ocean resources, if you are using your ocean resources sustainably, for what? For economic growth. and you are using this ocean resources for economic growth, for livelihood purpose, and in meanwhile you are not at all, hampering the health of the ocean. That means the health of the ocean is as it should be or as it is, even though you have used that ocean for economic growth, you have used that ocean for livelihood purposes, then we can say what? It is a blue economy. So a blue economy is one where the ocean resources have been used for economic growth, have been used for livelihood purposes, and the health of the ocean is intact. Fine. Now, what is, why we are talking about greening the blue economy? That means what is, just now I have told you that we are going to use this channel of India means Middle East Europe corridor, and we'll be using this ocean, then we'll be using the land route. Now this is what they are saying over here, also greening the blue economy. That means you are using your oceans, and then you are also shifting towards what? Your green logistics. So, anyway, you can't deny the fact that the rules of your green corridor or the green logistics with the oceans or with your blue economy becomes important. That means your green logistics becomes important. Now, what is the reason for having green shipping? Because they are saying greening the blue economy. So, what is the reason that you need to have green shipping? See, in the very initial article I told you about use of solar planes and etc, solar plants. One key reason for use of this green economy or green oceans is because we need to reduce our net emissions. We are actively participating in Paris Agreement, International Solar Alliances. We are talking about UNFCCC. We are talking about UNCCC. So what is happening is that when you are talking or when you are globally into these platforms, then you have to work towards the reduction of the net emissions. So this is going to contribute towards reduction of net emissions. Now, other than that, what is happening is that around 90% of the world trade moved through sea and maritime sector. So your 90% of world trade, not India only, but world trade is going from where? From maritime and sea. And this is contributing how much? 3% towards GHGs. That means 90% of world trade that is happening from your shipping and maritime area, this is contributing 3% towards your greenhouse gas emissions. Now, for this reason, we need to move towards what? Green shipping. That means having green logistics, having or when green logistics during which time? During blue economy. Okay. Now the point is that when we know that we require green shipping or we require the greening of the blue economy, what are the initiatives that we are taking? Because we have to go step by step. Now we know the issue behind, we know that we need to take this plan. Now when we know the plan, we know the issue behind. Now the point is that what steps need to be taken. So next is your see, if you are going to talk about greening the blue economy, firstly you have to reduce your dependency on fossil fuels. That means non-fossil fuels should be used. And when I talk about non-fossil fuels, definitely you need to think about the renewable energy sources. Now, when you are going for renewable energy sources or non-fossil fuels, now you have to take in part what? The non-conventional resources. Now, when you are talking about non-conventional resources, you have to align yourself towards these resources. Fine. Other than that, since our AI is at peak, that means artificial intelligence is there. That means now you can take, you can take help of them. That means AI, digitalization, big data, etc., to actually trace down the route for what? For green logistics. Fine. Then we have multiple projects also for that. That means there is a Green Voyage 2050 project. If you want, you can have a reading to it. Green Voyage 2050 projects. So they are talking about this. What? That how to green the blue economy. So in this Green Voyage 2050 project, what is happening is they are taking into reference what? Working with certain countries. And who are those countries? There are around 12 countries who will be, participating towards making the blue economy green. Then there are multiple declarations also coming from different projects. So that could also be read down. One such declaration is coming from UK during COP26. Then you have Global South Corridor. So Global South Initiative also. So there are certain initiatives which have been effectively talking about this. So this was something which was important for us to discuss with respect to the current changing scenario. One was, let me just repeat. One is your solar plants. Why? Because again, there's a high climate change that we are witnessing. So because of climate change, we need to know about solar plants. Then India's toy export. India is becoming a net exporter of toys, and big achievement. Then multivitamins. Why? Because science and tech again becomes important. So Alzheimer disease and dementia. Then we have one nation, one election, very key topic and very hot topic. Why? Because 2024 is all about elections. Then we have IMEC corridor, India, Middle East, Europe corridor, because recently we are facing the issue of Yemen conflicts with Houthi rebellions. Then we have greening the blue economy again because of reduction of net emissions. I hope so. The detailing part is absolutely clear with you. Okay, so any doubt? Amulya, Megha, issues are clear? Okay, so thank you so much. I shall see you in the next class. Good morning, Swaroop. You entered late. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much.